And of course, we have our 12 megapixel camera, which has an f1.5 aperture, and this gives us a 49% improvement in low light conditions. I'm excited that they did update the front camera, so this now has autofocus. They're using this thing called the photonic engine, and this will now allow you to get way more light in low light photos. You'll get up to 2x improvement on the front and the ultra wide camera, and 2.5 times on the main camera. There's also this new advanced action stabilization. So this is pretty cool because I feel like a lot of times when you're out filming and you want to get a super steady shot, you would have to use a gimbal to be able to achieve some of these shots. Some of the demos that they showed was actually pretty impressive. So that's something that I can't wait to try out. Now, in typical Apple fashion, they like to remove things. Well, there's now no more SIM cards. Everything is moving to eSIM on the iPhone 14 series. They did show a little demo of how easy it is to transfer everything over to eSIM, and almost all of the carriers will be supporting that. So that is happening with all of the US models. There's two new big features: the crash detection. So if you happen to be in a car accident, your iPhone will be able to detect that you were in a car crash and be able to call for help, which I think is such an awesome feature. And I'm really, well, I won't be testing that out, but I am excited for how many lives that could potentially help save. Something else on saving lives is the emergency SOS satellite feature. This was so cool to kind of watch the demo, and I feel like this is going to be something really fun to kind of test out. I have been a huge fan of taking out satellite phones when I go hiking, and Apple developed this technology that basically you're going to kind of just hold your phone up and you'll be searching for the satellite. So your phone will detect where the satellite is, and you'll be able to basically beam yourself up. They made this really cool interface that if you are in need of help and assistance, being able to send text messages can sometimes take a lot of time because you are sending it directly all the way up to these satellites, and it has to beam back down and then get to the person. And they developed this way that they're able to make those text messages even smaller in size, so they should be able to send quicker. They also have a really cool interface that allows you to show what type of emergency that you're having, select which one it is, and then that will help get you help quicker. The iPhone 14 is starting at a $799 price tag, and the iPhone 14 Plus is at $899. Now for our Pro series, which is always my personal favorite, we have the iPhone 14 Pro and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. It comes in 4 colors. We have this space black, silver, gold, and deep purple. I mean, the deep purple is obviously one of my favorite colors. It looks so incredible, but I'm such a huge fan of gold, as we can see here. So I'll probably order the gold phone again. I'm not sure, I don't know. Maybe I'll order the purple. I just don't know. I haven't decided yet. So the iPhone 14 and the 14 Pro have one huge difference. That is, the notch is still prevalent on the iPhone 14, and the iPhone 14 Pro has this new pill-shaped design. Now this is where I was so shocked because Apple had this thing that they decided to call that pill-shaped design. Not a pill shape, not a cutout. They called it a dynamic island. And when they said that, like, the crowd was like laughing because it's such a random name, but it's the most perfect name because it is exactly what it is a floating island that dynamically changes. As you open things on your phone, it will change to reflect whatever is open. If you're playing music, if you have a timer started, you can then force hold on that dynamic island to open it back up and close it again. So it's kind of like another way to show and hide notifications. Now this does have a Pro display. It has a 1600 nit brightness, which is same as the Pro Display XDR, but at its peak brightness, it goes up to 2000 nits, which is the maximum, and that's twice as bright as before. We also now have an always-on display, which I know, Android, I get it. I know you've had it before. Well, now we have it, and we are all here for it, and we are very excited. So please don't rain on our parade. We've managed to survive this long without it, so, you know, we good. So the new Pro phones are using the A16 Bionic chip, and of course, these are the fastest chips in a smartphone to date. It has a 6-core CPU, which is 40% faster than the competition, and it also uses 20% less power than the A15. The new Pros have a new camera system as well, which is always so exciting for me as a content creator. I love filming. I love taking photos. Here is our main camera. This has a 48 megapixel camera with their new quad pixel sensor. This has the 2nd gen sensor shift optical image stabilization with a 20 millimeter focal length in the main lens. Now the main camera also has 2 times better low light photo capabilities, and you can also use Apple Pro RAW. The ultra wide camera has an f2.2 aperture, and it has 3 times improvement for low light. It's also got a sharper lens, which is way better for macro shots. There's also a new 2x telephoto, which is an f1.78. This is pretty interesting because it kind of takes your main camera and your telephoto and kind of merges them together and gives you this new 2x shot. So you'll have your 0.5, your 1, 2, and your 3. They now have a 9 LED adaptive flash. This is pretty cool because you have these varying ranges of focal lengths and your zooms. This will allow the flash to automatically adjust depending upon how close you're shooting or how far away. So it's able to either be brighter or be a little less bright, depending upon your subject and what lens you're shooting with. So the pros also can shoot in ProRes video, which is really great, especially if you're an editor and you want to have more control over the color. Also, the action mode is coming to the pros, so you'll be able to get super steady shots in situations which would normally require a gimbal. Cinematic mode was something that they launched last year, which I don't really think I've actually really used it very much since last year. I kind of forgot about it. And one of the reasons was because it only shot 1080p, but now you're able to shoot in 4K. So I think that's going to kind of change the game for a lot of people who may have been a little hesitant to use it before. It's now 4K and you can shoot 30 frames a second and 24. Now, it's really cinematic. The iPhone 14 Pro is starting at $999 and the iPhone 14 Pro Max is at $1099, and storage options range up to 1 terabyte. Next, we have Apple Watch Series 8. I am a huge Apple Watch fan. I've had one since the very beginning, and I'm so excited that they now announced that it has a temperature sensor. And for anyone who has a period, this is very exciting because being able to track that is tedious. Sometimes it's not accurate, and being able to have that temperature accuracy is really incredible for us. Also, for those who may be trying to get pregnant or trying not to get pregnant. So with that temperature sensor, being able to track your ovulation, track your cycles, I think this is going to be super helpful for a lot of people. The Series 8 is swim-proof, dust-proof, and crack-resistant. It also has the new crash detection. Much like the new iPhone having the crash detection feature, the Apple Watch also now does have that feature. So if you are just wearing your Apple Watch and you don't have your phone, crash detection will also be available on the Apple Watch, which again, hopefully something that I never need, but it is really great and kind of puts my mind at ease knowing that I have these devices in place if something does happen. The Series 8 has all-day battery life, and they do have this new low-power mode that will be able to optimize to get you even more time. They said that you should be able to get up to 36 hours of battery life when you're in that optimized mode. It comes in 4 different aluminum colors. We have the Midnight, the Starlight, the Silver, and the Red. And there's 3 colors of the steel. We have silver, gold, and graphite. It'll be $399 for the GPS and $499 for cellular. They also made some updates to the Apple Watch SE. It comes in 3 colors, silver, midnight, and starlight. It still has all of the same safety features like the emergency SOS, fall detection, crash detection. It now has a 30% larger display than the Series 3. It has the same package as the Series 8, so it's now 20% faster than before. This watch I feel like is perfect for kids or family members because you can use the family setup. So if someone doesn't have an iPhone, you'll still be able to enable this watch under the family setting. This brings us to the brand new Apple Watch Ultra. Now, I think that we thought this was going to be called the Apple Watch Pro. There were rumors that it would have an additional button, it would be larger, this and that. Well, here it is. This is it. It's the Apple Watch Ultra. This is definitely a very extreme edition of the Apple Watch. There's so many features on here that I feel like a lot of people will never, ever use in their everyday life. This is definitely an adventure watch. This is for people who are going out, doing things. You're super active. I am definitely a very active person, but I feel like this might even be a little too much for me. But is that going to stop me? Absolutely not. I definitely will be getting the Ultra to check out. I do love running. I do love doing all sorts of fitness activities. And I do have also very small wrists. So when I first put this watch on, it definitely felt pretty large, but because it's made of titanium and ceramic, it didn't feel heavy. It really felt very similar to the size of my other Apple Watch that I have now. And this is the smaller version. So going from this to the 49mm was pretty shocking. Just the touch of the watch face, because it's like a flat design now, it was really cool because it kind of felt like you had a very mini iPhone on your wrist. It's ultra durable. It has aerospace grade titanium. The display is a flat sapphire crystal. It has a larger digital crown. And of course, this added action button that you can customize to be whatever action you want it to be when you click it. It's got a second speaker for increased volume. It has cellular built in. It'll get you up to 36 hours of battery on a single charge. And you can get 60 hours of battery life after a new optimization that is coming later this fall. It has a night mode feature. So when you twist the dial, it will turn red and all of the blue light will disappear, which will help if you're out in the middle of the night. This red is so much easier on your eyes. It also has precision dual GPS, so this will help with triangulating exactly where you are, and it'll have way more precise GPS, especially if you're in areas like you're running between buildings or you're in various locations where there may be some interference. Sometimes the GPS doesn't work that well, so hopefully this will solve that problem. Now, we also got a little treat that was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, yes, the rumors sort of hinted that there may be a possibility of some AirPods, and we did indeed get some AirPods Pro 2. Now, I got a chance to test these out hands-on. I got to listen to them, and it was pretty incredible, especially because I still use the Gen 1 AirPods almost pretty much all the time because I have such a weird ear shape that sometimes they don't stay in my ears, even the new 3s. So still, the first gen is still my favorite. So I was glad to see that they have a new smaller tip on the AirPods Pro 2. So hopefully that'll help them stay a little bit better in my ears. But the sound quality on the Pros is so incredible, especially going from the Gen 1s that I'm so used to listening to. Just the new adaptive noise cancellation. I'm excited to get my hands on them or get my ears on them. Yeah. So the design is very similar to the previous Pros, but they do have a brand new H2 chip. Like I said, they have the new extra small ear tip, and they have the adaptive transparency mode. This will adjust safely for high decibel noises. I also tried this out at the event, and it was cool because you could actually look at your Apple Watch and you could see the decibel sound changes and saying that you were now in a safe zone when I had the AirPods in the noise cancellation mode. So that was kind of cool to really see real time an actual change happen. They've got some touch controls, so when you squeeze the little bottom of the AirPod, it will actually switch from noise cancellation and to off again. You can also adjust the volume by sliding up and down. Pretty intuitive, and I'm still pretty impressed how great these sound. They also have a longer battery life, so you'll get about 6 hours of listening time on a single charge, which is 30% better. And you'll get a total of 30 hours of listening time with the case. They added a speaker at the bottom of the AirPods now, so when you use Find My AirPods, you'll be able to hear them way better than before, which is so smart because I lose my AirPods all the time, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I do normally find them though. They added a little lanyard connector here, so you'll be able to connect a lanyard. So not only will you be able to find your AirPods, hopefully they'll still be connected to you and you won't have to look very far. These also have personalized spatial audio capabilities. Now this is not, I guess, a new technology, but it's definitely new for Apple. Sony's had this for a while where you scan your ear and it'll basically give you a personalized spatial audio that will represent the shape of your ear. Not really sure how this all works, but it is kind of interesting. And I know that it's cool that Sony has done that for a while, and now Apple has decided to follow in their footsteps, and I can't wait to scan my ear. Like, I'm ready. Here we are. Let's do it. Scan time. So that, my friends, was kind of a first look at everything that Apple announced at their event. I'm definitely excited about the new iPhone. Obviously, that's kind of what I look forward to every year, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. But I am kind of excited about the Apple Watch Ultra. Now, I feel like I don't do that many intense activities like most people who would get this watch would. I think the coolest feature is they were talking about how incredible this is for diving, because as soon as you would dive into the water, it would automatically detect, and you'd be able to detect the temperature of the water, how far you're diving, and I think that's just so